You know, Mother's Day is not always a happy occasion for everyone. Some may be grieving and need support during this time.
Grief and trauma therapist Dr. Ajetta Robinson joins us now to discuss how to navigate grief this Mother's Day. And that is something that a lot of people probably don't take into consideration. Someone may have recently lost their mother or someone close to them, or it could be 10 years. It doesn't really matter the length of time because the pain is still there. How do we help them navigate this particular day?
Absolutely.
Or time of year?
And I think one of the most important things that we can do is just acknowledge that they are still grieving, that time alone does not ease the burden of grief, and that we shouldn't rush people through the grief journey. Many of us grieve throughout our lifetime, and that it changes, and anniversaries, milestones, even things we're looking forward to like graduations and our weddings, like these achievements can re-trigger the grieving process for us, and so that it's lifelong, right? And so giving them space to just name that they are grieving or that they're still grieving, and that that's normal. And so I think we need to kind of reshift that time frame that we're imposing on grief that's not realistic.
I wonder if it's even harder for folks who may have their mother or mother figure still here but don't have a good relationship with them. Is that an even harder type of grief to navigate?
I don't know that it's harder. I think that it's less recognized, right? Because how often do we feel bad for people? It's like, your mom's still here. And it's like, yeah, but I don't have a relationship, or it's not a healthy relationship, or it's not the mothering that I need. And oftentimes there's a lot of shame with saying I'm grieving a person that's still walking this earth that I don't have access to in a way that feels loving and kind. And so I think we do fall into the trap of comparing my mother died versus my mother's still here. We're still grieving. The brain doesn't actually know the difference. It's a psychological wound that desires healing, and it doesn't matter that it's physical or symbolic.
Okay, what can we do for them? I mean, you said give them space and let or let them acknowledge it. But is there something more we can do?
Absolutely. So I teach an acronym called ACT, A-C-T. Acknowledge it. So sometimes we don't bring it up because we don't want to re-trigger them. They've never forgotten. So it's okay to say, I know that your Mother's Day is difficult for you, that you probably need some support. I'm here and I'm available. So that's acknowledging piece, naming it. The C is compassion, a compassionate companion. And so literally that could look like being present, right? For oftentimes we have these gatherings around Mother's Day, but you may need someone that needs you to be able to be their person that allows them to opt out. I may come, but I may not be able to stay. And giving them permission, being compassionate that I said I was coming, but how I show up might look differently than the way you might need me to show up in honoring that I'm grieving, right? So that's the compassionate piece. And then the T I call talker tool. Sometimes they just need to tell the story. They need to talk about mom, need to talk about what's there, what's no longer there. And then there are times in which we really need to connect them with resources, people like grief and trauma therapists or pastors or other folks, support groups who are where they are so that they feel seen, heard, and cared for. And so I think those are some of the things. I think one of the most critical things we can do is to help people recognize when they're shaming their grief and to say, hey, this is normal. Be where you are, and that's okay. And so I think we need more encouragement around disrupting some of the myths that tell us that we're not grieving the right way, because that actually is not real.
Right. Yeah. But so many people grieve so many different situations and people in different ways.
Absolutely.
So
and
really,
that is normal.
And we kind of talked about this before. Also, kind of just being the comedian or the distractor can also be very beneficial, right?
Yes. I always tell my friends, you know, even as when I'm not wearing my therapist hat, I am phenomenal at ordering food, right? Because it's the last thing we're thinking about, but it's the thing that you always need. I'm also the master of distraction, right? So whether it's dancing off beat or, you know, going on a walk with you or whatever, because sometimes we just need to be with people that we can do nothing with. We can turn our brains off. We're not required to be on, so to speak, so that we can just be in our bodies. And so those are things that we can just give people, right?
All right, well, those are some great options, because I don't think a lot of people realize what they're doing, maybe not helpful. So now we've turned it around and given them some tools that they can use. Dr. Ajetta, thank you so much. Here's the information, AjettaRobinson.com. You can get more tips and also reach out to her if you need some help or questions or some resources or some suggestions for some resources.
Absolutely.
And she's got a great book too, The Gift of Grief, that can help folks out. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.